Bolt.DIY just released the new version 1.0 with a lot of new features, bug fixes and improvements. Let's not waste time and I show you a few of them. Before we come to the bigger features, let's start with a few smaller ones, but also important. The first one is the new fine-tuned system prompt, where you can find here in the settings, features, and then in the prompt library you have 3 different prompts now. The default one and the optimized you already know, and now also the fine-tuned prompt, which has a few improvements. Enforce strict standards, prevent mistakes, so it ensures the usage of some libraries like read, etc. Better prompt planning, improved output quality, and some other stuff. So I would recommend you choose this prompt and test it out yourself. By default, it's still the default prompt chosen, so you have to select it manually. The next 2 things are the improved starter templates. You can find them on the start page below. Here these icons, you already know them from the previous version, but here are a few new ones, like the Expo one, we come to it later. Then the Astro basic template and 2 Shed CDN templates are also new. Also the pull of the templates is improved, so you don't get the rate limit anymore, which happened a lot in the previous version. Also the installing is now much faster, as we can see here. I choose the Vite Shed CDN and it's installing pretty fast. So we are ready to go, get the preview and can start our development. Let's build quickly a test to-do app so I can show you a few more features. While this is running, we already can see the first one. Here's a go to the last message improvement. So you can always use this to go to the end of the message. And also the UI changed here a bit. There were some strange scroll behaviors in the old version. Now you got here a new scroll bar for the chat and not the one on the right side here, the double scroll bar. There were also some improvements for the streaming, so this is a little bit smoother. The next 2 things are here in the code IDE. If you go to code tab, then you got here new capabilities for search and log files. So as you may know from Bolt.DIY, you can right click a file, log and unlock a file. So this ensures the LLM cannot overwrite this. It makes maybe sense for .env files where you have some variables in and you don't want them to be overwritten or some other stuff. So very useful. The other thing is the search capability. You can now search all files here and it lists you all occurrences. Another cool feature or improvement we can see when we go to the terminal and type node ---- version, then you can see we now got version 20 and not 18 anymore as it was before. With the version 20 brings a lot of improvements according to speed and other stuff. You may check out the node version changelog yourself on the node version page. Now we come to the bigger changes, which is the Supabase I already introduced in this video, so you can take a look there if you want to know more. But in short, you got this Supabase icon here on the bottom in the chat, and you can put in your access token and directly connect your project to the database and use it directly from there. The next option or a new feature is the Vercel integration, so you can now deploy directly your web app to Vercel. So just make sure in the settings under connections you put in your API key, as you know from Netlify already, and then you are able to deploy your stuff in the UI. I also made a video here you can watch in detail and see how it goes. With this, just one option here is missing, deploy to Cloudflare, which hopefully comes in the next release. The next feature I also showed in another video, but we now released it in 1.0 the first time, and you can now check out all the installers and use Bolt.DIY directly on your desktop. So on the release page, you can see all the available installers. We now also got the app image for Mac users. It's unsigned at the moment, so So it's not officially, but you can still install it. In the future we hopefully get it signed, so you don't have to deal with the unsigned image. I'm on Windows, so I download the setup exe for Windows and we test it out together. Okay, that's now downloaded. Let's install it together. To get this running, that's okay, because it's also not signed on Windows. Yes. After it is installed, you can directly find it in your programs and open it. I also showed this in another video. You can take a look here to see it in more detail. But this is the UI. This is Bolt.DIY now running fully as desktop app on your system. Now let's see a bigger feature. The Expo integration is finally also in Bolt.DIY. You may know it from Bolt.new, where it is since a few months now, I guess. And we now got it also in Bolt.DIY, which is a huge improvement. You can now develop your mobile apps directly in Bolt.DIY. As you can see here, as soon as the implementation is finished, you get this QR code. You can scan it with the Expo Go app on your phone. I have it open here on my Android phone, and you get directly the app shown here and can test it out. So that's a pretty cool feature and enables you to build mobile applications with Bolt.DIY as well. So let's take a quick look here in the code editor. You can check it out here as well for sure. Test it, and here in the terminal you get the code here as well, the QR code, and you can also use the shortcuts to, for example, reload the app, and then it will automatically reload here on your phone, which allows you to quickly develop your app. So this was a pretty short showcase of the Expo app, but it's a huge feature, a huge improvement, and you should test it out right now. There are some more little changes as well, improvements. I will not go in detail, but there are some performance improvements. We had a lot of problems with a lot of RAM usage and other stuff, which was now improved. We also got the update on AI SDK 4.2, which brings some new features. We can see on the page here on Vercel.com. For example, it allows us to do more reasoning stuff as well as implement MCP in the future, because that's integrated in the SDK. It also would allow us for image generation, so this can be developed. So let's comment below what you want to see next in the next release. Yeah, the UI improvements are already mentioned. It's a little bit cleaner now. We got some stuff on the scroll bar changed. The editor panel got new stuff. We go here. There are new options here for opening and watching your preview. And also here you can open the Expo preview again to scan the code. As well as we got a lot of settings improvements, so I would recommend you just go in the settings, check out all tabs and see what you can do. So just a quick hint, Ollama is disabled by default, so if you want to use local models, just enable them. And you also got the new view here where you can directly update and install Ollama models. Going back, you can switch to developer mode here on top and see a lot of more stuff, and can check out also the beta tabs here to see, for example, the status of your services. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is how to quickly update your version. If you are on the current stable 0.07, you can go to your terminal and do a git status to see if you are correct. Yes, we are on the stable. Then we just do a git pull. I already pulled it, so as you can see, I'm on version 1.0, and after this you are on the new version. You can just do npm install again to install all dependencies and update them, and then do a npm run dev. to start the application. That's it in short. And if you are on Cloudflare, then the only thing you need to do is go to your cloned repository and go here to sync fork and click sync. I don't have this button because it's already synced, but you got this, and after this the Cloudflare instance will automatically install the new branch. Also a quick hint, when you install the new release, make sure you clean up your browser cache and storage cache as well. So the fastest way to do this is press F12 or go to right click inspect to open the DevTools, go here to applications, here on the left side go to storage and click clear site data. This ensures everything is deleted and you start with a fresh install. Otherwise you get some artifacts, problems with the UI and some stuff not working because a lot of stuff changed. This will delete your API keys if you have put them just in the UI and not in the .env file. So if you want to keep them, make sure you save them before. Okay, that's it for this short video. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think about the new release, what you want to see in the future. And yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Bye.